This morning I woke up with the thought of fear on my mind. I actually thought about the different fears that I've had throughout my life and the ones that held me back and the ones that motivated me to make a change in my life. The reality is fear is a part of being human. I don't know of anyone who doesn't have some level of fear. For some people, their fear is much higher than other people. And what I find interesting is the people who minimize their fear are those people who are willing to take action on whatever it is that they have a fear around. Take your health, for example. I put a lot of effort into my health, and I really think about, okay, a woman of my age, a lot of times people will buy into this belief that there are certain things you cannot do because of your age. You have a lot of limitations. You're going to get the aches and pains, and that is a part of life. However, it can be minimized. I remember a few years ago when I was considerably heavier than I am right now. I went to the doctor and they ran some tests, and my doctor said, okay, here's the deal. You are getting older, and at the rate you're going to either have a heart attack or a stroke. We can put you on medication, or you can start exercising, you can eat right, you can drop some weight, and you probably won't need the meds. She goes, we really should put you on medication because my blood pressure was through the roof. I was really stressed out. It was during the time that my mom was very sick, and she had actually just recently passed. And so I wasn't doing what I needed to do to take care of my health because I was somebody else's caretaker. In that moment, I had a decision to make. In that moment, I could buy into the pill and say, okay, I'm going to take the pill and that's going to fix everything and continue to have the behaviors that I had, or I could make some dramatic changes. Well, those dramatic changes have served me well. Since that time, I've changed my eating dramatically. I've changed my exercise routines dramatically, and I've changed a lot of the way I conduct my life. I've dropped the weight, I exercise on a regular basis, and I look at that and I think, okay, it doesn't mean that I'm eliminating the possibility of something happening, but it means I'm minimizing the possibility. This is true in any area of our life. We can either stay in the fear and say, well, that's just the way it is, and constantly be in a level of anxiety that doesn't serve us, or we can make the changes we need to make in order to live the kind of life that we want to live. Recently, I was at an event where most of the people were well over the age of 60, myself included. And the topic of conversation with quite a few people was the aches and pains they had, and they have on a regular basis. The fact is, as we get older, there's so much we can't do, and woe is me, woe is me. That is a reality for a lot of people. However, I had a good friend of mine with me who we go running quite a bit together, and we both were looking at this conversation, and we said, you know, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way if you're willing to take the steps to make the changes that need to happen. Now, this can apply to your health. It can apply to your finances. It can apply to your business. It can apply to your relationships. You can either live in the fear and say, well, that's just the way it is, or you can do what you need to do on a daily basis. See, that's the big key right there, is doing it on a daily basis. Oftentimes people will do something once and they think that's going to fix everything, years of behavior, and it doesn't. And they say, well, that obviously doesn't work. I see this in business all the time. I make recommendations to people to go out and get radio and podcast interviews, to write articles, to do blogging. They do it once or twice and they go, well, I didn't get a result. Well, of course you didn't get a result. That would be like me going to the gym and working out once and saying, okay, that's it for the year. It doesn't work that way. So whatever your fears are, you want to look at that and say, is that a real fear, or is it something that I can do something about? If you can do something about it, what are you willing to do about it? Let's take your health again. Are you willing to change the way you eat? Are you willing to change the way you exercise? Are you willing to change the people you surround yourself with, so the conversations are not about what you can't do, but what you can do? I encourage you to look at your life, take a real deep look at where you need to make changes to have the quality of life that you want, and then be willing to make those changes. One of the greatest changes that you need to make is what goes on between your temple, your ears, what comes out of your mouth, what you look at, who you surround yourself with, and also the actions that you take. For today, take an action that moves you out of the fear and closer to the kind of lifestyle that you want. This is Kathleen Gage with Power Up for Profits, encouraging you, go out and create the life you want. Have a great day and make a difference.